Much for joining us, Honorable.
Yeah, thank you. Good evening, Rebecca, and good evening, Nigerians.
Good evening to you. It's exactly 4 months since Governor Caleb Mutfwang took over the office of Plateau State as the Chief Security Officer. How has the journey been so far?
Yeah, well, as a visionary leader, you all know that in governance, you have the good, the bad, and the ugly, and whatever challenges. In coming here, I left the governor having an interactive session with Plateau indigenes in Abuja, which is first of its kind in the history of Plateau State. And all Plateau indigenes that are in government offices, private sector, the public, the civil, the politicians, having a meeting with them, trying to harness understanding of each and every one of us in forging Plateau forward, having the dream of Plateau. And to me, that's the way forward. The governor is not showing that he knows everything and he has all the solution, but bringing all of us together to be able to understand issues, to be able to give him advice on how to address most of the challenges that have bedeviled the state in terms of insecurity, which insecurity has now led to food security, which has now led to even lack of confidence in the tourism that Plateau is known for, home of peace and tourism. And with this continuous discussion, I'm sure that Nigerians and home and abroad will visit Nigeria, and when they visit Nigeria, they will have a shot in visiting Plateau State because that home of peace and tourism is a dream of each and every one of us. And with what the governor is doing at the moment, I can say kudos to him. Challenges are there to every government that has come into power, but it's the ability of the leader to be able to understand how he will navigate through those problems to give his people dividends of democracy. So the steps that the governor has taken so far, we are fully confident that he will succeed at the end of the day.
Right. So, I mean, would you like to tell us the kind of steps the governor has taken in the past 4 months?
You said the steps he has taken?
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, as a legislator here in Abuja, and the governor, who is the chief security officer on the Plateau, you're all aware that when he came into power, he was bedeviled with a lot of insecurity and killings right into his local government. And if you had followed his interactive sessions, he has taken a lot of steps which has led to the calmness now on the Plateau. He has really interacted with leaders across party lines at the high level of governance in Abuja. And I was pleased that in one of our interactive sessions that with the president, with the National Assembly members, that the president recognized that in as much as the governor of Plateau is not of his party extraction, he is concerned to ensure that peace returns to the Plateau. And the Plateau State governor was among the first 2 governors the president first had an interaction with in addressing the issue of insecurity in Plateau State. And those are steps that the governor has been taking. He has gone around the service chiefs. He has been able to discuss at high level of with the security chiefs and so on and so forth. To us, that is a welcome development, and we have seen the dividends so far that calmness is now being enjoyed on the Plateau. Mongo, which was one of the most hit when the governor came into power, the GOC, who is heading the Operation Safe Haven, has established a base in Mongo. And so we are enjoying that relative peace. And in as much as we still have some pockets of killings in some farms across the state. But these are issues that we want to applaud the governor, that Since he came into power, he has been able to pursue peace. But again, in pursuing peace, we want to see, as we pursue peace, I always say that once you seek for peace from a different angle, we still seek for justice. And in seeking for justice is what we want to see, that who were those perpetrators that has been killing our people over the years on the plateau. Because year in, year out, when people are being killed, we call for calmness, government come in with relief materials, with support, a lot of press statements, and so on and so forth. But at the end of the day, who were those perpetrators? And you will see, always say that perpetrators will be brought to book. And the book of these perpetrators has always been empty, while the book of those that are being killed is in volumes. So as we seek for peace, as government promise people peace, as they are ensuring peace, we want to see those perpetrators are in jail. Those perpetrators are being tried. Those perpetrators, there are sanctions, there are a lot of... So, because once we address the issue of injustice, I can tell you this mayhem will reduce, because those that are carrying out those acts, once they know that if we go to this certain level, we'll be arrested, we'll be jailed, and you will see that that will reduce. But when they believe that we can come and do what we want to do, we will run away, and they stop people from any reappraisal or defending themselves, that is where they will go again, strike in another locality, and the chain continues. As much as we appreciate the security agencies with their efforts so far in ensuring there is peace, we want as well that they should move forward. In the 21st century, you can trace every movement. In this 21st century, there are satellites, there are cameras, there are tech that can be able to trace movement of people in and out, even from the operational base. The security agencies can use drones to do a lot of things. So we want to see the use of technology in addressing the issue of insecurity in Nigeria at this. If we are giants of Africa, we should be giants of technology in addressing insecurity as well.
Right. So you've talked about Mangu, which appears to be the epicenter of killings, but now you say there is some level of calmness in that area. But what about the situation in Jos, your constituency? Has the situation improved?
Yeah, well, the situation, yes, it has improved, but like I said, we still have pockets of killings. Today you hear maybe one person has been lynched in the farm, or somebody has been attacked, or people are sitting down in their relaxing in the evening, and someone will just come in a bike and raid bullets on them, which was one of the major attacks that took place in my own village itself. And so in as much as we applaud government of this, we still solicit that more needs to be done in terms of all these pockets of killing, because the pockets of killings in the farms will now scare farmers of going back to the farm for harvest. And this is something that, again, will lead to food security. And you will see that if farmers are now scared of going to the farm, if farmers did not even go to the farm when the rainy season started, then which means they won't even go for harvest. And when you don't have bountiful harvest, I can tell you that there will be hunger in the land. That is what we don't want. And we know that Plateau are agrarians. And as agrarians, the farm is very important to us. Our crops in the land, in the farm, is very important for us to harvest, for our families, and at the same time to even sell. So the GDP in terms of economy in the country, when after harvest, you will see that in terms of agriculture, it will surely go down, because people were scared of going to the farm because of the pockets of killings. And that's an angle that we want government again to look at in terms of the agro ranchers agro rangers from through the civil defense. We want to see that these agro rangers are well equipped. We want to see that we have more, we harmonize relationship with the vigilantes. We harmonize relationship with informal paramilitary security architecture within the country in terms of vigilante, in terms of the hunters, and in which will now galvanize support to having the state police that as legislators we have been conversing for at the National Assembly.
All right.
Because when a governor that calls himself a chief security cannot and will not be able to handle and command security within his state, then something is definitely wrong.
So we'll get back to that particular statement. But some analysts argue that the killers are not Nigerians. And when you juxtapose this with some statements that have been made or credited to the governor, one of which is that these are foreign mercenaries. And just recently he said there is a deliberate conspiracy to bring down Plateau State. How strong is this position?
Well, if a leader will be bold to make a statement, if a leader will be bold to make a statement, you should know that that leader must have seen or heard, or from his report, must have been able to have something in his hands to be able to confirm from what, to ascertain and to stand on what he has said. It's not only the governor of Plateau State. Many leaders have said that, look, we have people that have infiltrated the country. We have people that either they are coming from neighboring countries. Even security agencies have said so, that today they will see either a headsman in the bush, or they will see some of them with AK, and when they now confront, they will see that they are not the indigenous Fulani people that we have. So, if those are issues that we have, what is government doing in terms of mounting and be able to police our borders? In terms of even this national identification that we are talking about, in terms of identifying, in terms of biometric, in terms of having to know who is who within the country. These are issues that government need to widen its scope in protecting lives and properties. It's not just about putting in checkpoints, it's not just about policing around, but it's about prevention. And so when we don't look at preventive measures in terms of addressing the issue of insecurity as it is, it's now going to be a problem. We'll always wait. When it happened, then we'll now see that they are either the foreigners or who we don't know them, they are Nigerians. But in 21st century, what are those biometrics that we can really ascertain that every Nigerian has a form of identification that you can be able to trace, know who he is, just like the banks do their KYC, that every moving Nigerian will be able to identify. When we travel abroad, even as legislators, we move with our passports in our pocket because we don't know who might harass us, and if we don't have our identification, they don't care what your status is, they will take you straight into custody. So why can't we have those kind of system within the country that before we see if we can get you in anywhere or you are moving in a certain suspicious way, security agencies should be able to ask for your form of identification as a Nigerian. But I see more of looking for a form of registration of either your vehicle or your motorcycle. Can we move further to know who is on the street of Abuja, who is on the street of Enugu, who is on the street of Jos, who is on the street of Zamfara? Are they truly Nigerians? When we take it to that level, we will be able to know that, look, we have a lot of foreigners, a lot of people that are moving on the streets of this country that are not truly Nigerians. So we need to look at the preventive measures. All the laws are there. The National Assembly have been able to give, the executive have been able to give government all the necessary laws to check and balance. They be able to look at what and how can you be able to go ahead and do it. So, but when we wait, it happens, we start talking about this and that, I can tell you this will be the cycle. But when we start looking at the preventive measures, I can tell you that that will be our half problem solved.
All right. But Honorable Dachung, has there been any improvement? This is across Plateau State now. Has there been any improvements in the security situation since the appointment of new security chiefs?
Absolutely. Like I said, with the effort, not just because of the appointment of the service chiefs. Yes, they have given the governor his word and commitment. Most of them came to on the Plateau. The IG was on the Plateau. The CDS, and all the, I think about 2, 3, or 4 of them came to the state as a result of how the governor went to meet them, to cry out to them that, look, we need help on the Plateau. And I will give that to them that, look, there has been tremendous improvement in terms of the issue of insecurity on the Plateau. And again, I must say that when people hear maybe there are 1 or 2 killings on the Plateau and people just get scared that, we don't want to go to Jos. No, Jos is the city center, just like Abuja has Karo, has Nyanya, has Kuje or Abaji and the rest. And some of these killings usually happen in the hinterland like Abaji, Kwali, or inside a very remote village in Kuje, not the city center of FCT. The city center of Jos is secured, is safe, is peaceful. You can fly into Jos, you can drive into Jos any day, anytime. The challenges that we have had over time is in the villages. And this improvement that we are talking about, the Mongoose village, the Mongo, even in Mongo, the city center of Mongo has been very peaceful. But what has happened within the villages of Mongo has been what has really brought us down to our knees, because every single life of a Plateau citizen is very, very important. So as we solicit for more support, I want to tell Nigerians that, look, Plateau and Jos as it is, Jos, no killings, no any attack in the city of Jos. You can do your business in the city of Jos. You go in, you fly in, you drive in. But the villages of where we are having where we have had the problem is where security agencies have been able to do their best, because they have information on a daily basis, and I must commend them. But more need to be done. That the pockets of killings in the farms need to come to a stop. And again, perpetrators that have been carrying out this attack need to be arrested, because they move. You will hear tomorrow is either in Plateau, in one of the villages that is sharing boundary with another state, and when they finish from this state, you hear them either in Nasarawa or Benue, and this happens most times in and within those villages. So these are issues that meaning that these people can move inside the bushes from one village to the other and across states. It is a very big challenge, because they enter into those villages, and they use another route to go out within those villages. And when the security are coming, the security come through the road, the tars, and come to those areas, while these people use bikes or motorcycle or even by foot to navigate into the bush, that you won't see them at the end of the day. So the challenge again, which I know that the security agencies need to beef up to, is that, look, policing those bushes is very, very key. And either by land or by air, the policing those villages and policing those forests, it's very, very key and very important.
All right, so let's go back to the roles of the governors in all this. I mean, expectedly, Nigerians agree that the governors have a huge role to play in securing their various states. But these governors have said there is a part of the Constitution that keeps them or that has made them handicapped and incapable of securing their state. You're a lawmaker. How is the National Assembly addressing this?
From the Ninth Assembly, and not just Ninth Assembly, previous assemblies, and that legislators from every state unanimously have been yearning for state police. And in yearning for state police is to be able to give the governors that constitutional power and right to be able to police its own environment, to be able to understand, because now a state governor cannot give directives to a commissioner of police, because the commissioner of police must further get directives to either a DIG or AIG before it gets to IG itself. The commander of STF or the GOC cannot be able to get directives from the governor. He must be able to get directives from the commander-in-chief of the armed forces or the CDS or chief of army staff or any of those. But when a governor now has his own people policing those environments, all those federal police within the state will be able to help to assist, because it's part of jurisdiction, just like we have within the judiciary. In the judiciary, you have the magistrate court that can be able to do some cases within the villages and local government. You now have the state high court before you now have the federal high court or appeal, and then the Supreme. Just jurisdiction in trying to disperse justice within the judiciary. It's something that needs to come down in terms of protecting lives and properties. That a local government will be able to have its own architect of security that is being mounted within the local government, that they know who comes in and goes out of the local government. That the state governor will be able to know who will be able to mount his own security architecture within his state as a security officer. That a state governor can now liaise with the commander-in-chief of armed forces, the president, and those heads of security in procurement of security apparatus for the state. These are issues that when we now look at, because if a state does not have, cannot be able to have those kind of security apparatus. Today, a governor cannot say that he wants to go and procure a drone. He must get that license. Today, a governor, even binoculars, any issue that have to do with insecurity, a governor cannot carry out such procurement. But when the governor has that kind of security powers to police his own community, when he's appointing his own commissioner of police, he knows that the commissioner of police is from one of the local government within the state. And when the head of security of a local government within that state is, and people and members of the community are part of that security, they will know the movement. And we have been able, the security, the federal security and police within the state, be it STF, and they have testified that civilian JTF, hunters, community police members that within the community have helped tremendously to address the issue of insecurity and giving them information in tracking some certain level of form of insecurity within the state. So when you now formalize and be able to legalize these people, you will see an utmost form of commitment in addressing insecurity. By the way, vigilantes are not being paid. They are volunteers, be it vigilantes, be it the community police, be it hunters, the civilian GTFs. All these are volunteers. No any form of insurance. If anything happens to them, no any form of allowance. They can, in terms of maintaining themselves, in terms of even up. So they are even vulnerable. They are even vulnerable in the sense that someone can even use them against the same community. But when you have people that are committed, people that are trained, people that they know that they can risk their life as patriotic citizens of the state, they know that their families are taken care of, they know that they have insurance, I can tell you that people will go out of their way to police this, their environment. With the preventive measures of identifying who you are first as a Nigerian, by knowing that you are coming into this place, you are not a citizen of this country. Even if you are not a citizen of this country, where is your residence permit? And your permit is showing that you are to work here or you are not to work here. When all these preventive measures are being put in place, we start policing our environment. I can tell you that these perpetrators will know that when they are coming into this community without any form of reason, either as a farmer or in any business, they will not venture to come into that because they know that that community is securely policed.
All right. So before we delve into Plateau politics, recently the First Lady, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, donated 500 million naira to victims of killings. But that distribution generated controversy. What's the situation now?
Well, we commend the First Lady for carrying out that very big gesture to Plateau people. And in terms of anybody that want to politicize whatsoever that has happened to him, which means whatever that the First Lady has done to the people of Plateau, sense of reasoning in understanding the plight of what Plateau people are going through, that person really has not yet understood the plight of people that we have in IDPs, the high state of food security we have within the state. It's unfortunate that people will take politics without, to be able to antagonize without facts. And as I always say, if I say anything, if I want to check on anything, I must get my facts, I must get my figures, and be able to prove that. So whatsoever that anybody wants to antagonize, ours as Plateau people, we are appreciative of what the First Lady has done. So whatever controversies that anyone wants to be political about it, I definitely will catch up with such a person. But knowing the person of a governor is not just a leader of, it's just not just a political leader, but is a leader that is in it and is a leader that does not take accountability and transparency for granted. And peradventure, if any of his aides or any of his people will try at any point in time to be able to do something funny or sketchy, I can tell you with the governor that I know, that person will face the consequences. But we are happy with what has happened. We are happy with the donation of our First Lady. At the end of the day, mine is that when she brought this donation, the livelihood of people in IDPs and in villages that was, if it was zero, with her donation, it should be able, their state of living should be able to go up to 2, 3, 5. That will show that that donation has been able to bring in succor. And someone again will do that tomorrow. So to me, politics aside, Plateau first, and all of us will succeed.
All right. Honorable Dachung, let's take a break. I've been speaking with a member of the House of Representatives representing Just South and Just East Federal Constituency of Plateau State, Dachung Musa Bagos, tonight to discuss in Plateau politics and insecurity. We'll take a break and I will be right back. Stay with us. Welcome back to Politics Tonight, and tonight we're discussing Plateau politics and insecurity with a member of House of Representatives representing Just South and Just East Federal Constituency of Plateau State, Dachung Musa Bagos. Honorable Dachung, let's now get to politics in your state. Many say the PDP, despite being the party in power in the state, is losing grip. What's your view on this?
You said it's losing what?
It's losing grip.
I don't, it's with 4 months, with 4 months in office. I don't understand what parameters such a person will use to say that the PDP is using grip. They have gone to court to challenge issues of the structure that PDP doesn't have structure on this, in the state. And you can clearly see that the election tribunal upheld the victory of the governor, and at the same time announcing to Plateau people and to the world that PDP has structure in the state. But one thing I want you to do your independent survey and research that when the victory of the governor, His Excellency Barrister Caleb Mutfwang, was announced after the first election in March, you could see the celebration on the Plateau. 4 months down the line, when his victory again at the tribunal was announced, you still see the same, if not more, jubilation on the streets of Plateau. So I wonder where someone will say where and how PDP is losing grip on the Plateau. It now shows that some individuals are so partisan to a fault that they are blind to seeing the development and the vision the governor has for the state, blind to see the level at which the governor has achieved this sense of addressing insecurity in the state when it happened in his own local government. He has remained so resolute, he has remained strong. Is the governor that's even encouraging us to be strong, that days will be over. And we are seeing his testimonies. From what the governor is doing, I can tell you the governor doesn't even stand or speak as a PDP member, but he speaks as a Plateau person. And that's why his popular song that he doesn't care what tribe or religion you belong to, as long as you are in Plateau, you are his brother, you are his sister. Let's join hands to ensure that we give dividends of democracy to the people. That's the vision, that's the mission of His Excellency Barrister Caleb Mutfwang. So, but one thing I know, that distractors will surely fail. Distractors that don't want to see that that Plateau people get dividends of democracy through the PDP, surely they will not serve, because Plateau people have embraced the leadership of His Excellency Barrister Caleb Mutfwang. And it will interest you to know that him coming into power wasn't about him being a PDP member. It was about his personality as an individual. And that was why he got his votes across party lines. He's got his votes across religious lines. That is because of his personality as a person. And any of us that will try to identify that to a party, to any party, then it will be unfortunate.
All right, but is there a likelihood that Governor Mutfwang may be overwhelmed?
Likelihood that will be what?
That Governor Mutfwang may be overwhelmed.
Overwhelmed or overworked? I didn't hear that last.
Overwhelmed.
Overwhelmed.
Absolutely.
No. Overwhelmed in terms of, when you say overwhelmed, I can be so overwhelmed with the sense of achievement that one has put in place. So if we are talking of that, he's overwhelmed with excitement that, look, Plateau people today are peaceful. Plateau people today are enjoying the dividends of democracy. Plateau people today can go to their farms. Plateau people can access good education, health care. Plateau people can drive on good roads. Plateau people can sleep with their 2 eyes close, if you are talking of that's how the governor will be overwhelmed, so be everybody will be overwhelmed. But if you are talking of overwhelmed with challenges that will stop him from delivering the dividends of democracy, not at all. As a leader, one thing I can tell you, that he's not standing alone. It's just like the biblical prophet and an apostle that, look, he has many people holding his hands up high, ensuring that he doesn't get tired, ensuring that he succeeds, ensuring that he is victorious after his tenure, ensuring that all of us, we are united. Many of Plateau people that are holding his hands up, you will not know whether he's tired or not. With his smile, all of us will have the Plateau of our dream.
All right. So recently, the tribunal sacked 4 PDP National Assembly members from the state, including you, over invalid nomination. What impact is this having on the party and the government?
Nothing, because no any impact. We are all doing our duties because we know what happened in the tribunal was academic exercise, that the law students will be able to read about it tomorrow, that the law students will be able to interpret. So every judge has his own reasons of interpreting the law the way he has interpreted the law. But we all know that even a layperson knows that the 2022 Electoral Act and even the Constitution have already addressed the issue of nomination, have addressed the issue of qualification by a party, by addressed a lot of issues that the appeal and appellate court will address such. So that has not overwhelmed any of us or has not weighed any of us. We're doing our work as it is because we know that if this has happened in this way, definitely there will be an angle to make it right. So what has happened to me is an academic exercise for studies for law students. But the law is the law. Interpreting the law the way anybody wants to interpret the law, there is a way, there is a straight jacket road that at the end of the day, the law will be strengthened according to the way it is. So we still have faith in the judiciary, which is the hope of the common man. So at the end of the day, the judiciary, through the appeal for the National Assembly and State House of Assembly, and to the Supreme Court for governors, in any way that any judge has interpreted the law according to the way he understood it, there are avenues that will be strengthened. So these are areas that we are so confident that the right thing will be done at the right time. Because, like I said,
so Honorable Dachung, I want you to react
has already
to
been handled by the Electoral Act.
Right, so I wanted to react to this. I know the party, that's the PDP, has expressed dissatisfaction with that verdict and has vowed to appeal the judgment. But some analysts have said it will amount to chasing shadows.
Well, I don't know. How can you chase a shadow when there is no shadow? The judgment absolutely did not give any shadow behind for you to chase. Rather, the judgment has given you that this is the door for you to be able to address it. So if the judgment came through whatsoever avenue, it was there. But definitely there is no any shadow to chase because the right thing would be done. The PDP and even whosoever has gotten judgment against the right thing definitely will be able to seek for redress, not chasing shadow, because I can tell you that there is no shadow, and I can assure Plateau people that they should be confident that any of those positions that the tribunal interpreted it in the way he understood the judgment, it will be corrected at the end of the day, because precedents have already been set, and once precedents have already been set, anything that is done out of those laws, it's a mere academic exercise.
So the State House of Assembly has also been hit with the invalidation of the election of the Speaker. How is the party reacting to this, and how is this affecting governance in Plateau State?
Before being a Speaker, he's a member that is being elected by his people. So it's not, in as much as he is the leader of the legislators in the state, I can tell you that has not affected him in particular. Neither has it affected any of the PDP members in the state. Neither has it affected the state governor or any, because like I said, if judgment were given according to someone's understanding, doesn't mean that that is what will stand. And you know that the judgment in different panels, having 3 panels, 2 panels, all the members for the national and state assemblies were in different panels. So you on with the same ground. Okay, I'm sure you are conversant with what has happened in the time past, because I don't want to discuss more of that because we're already in appeal court. So that will that's just like a form of prejudice. So already, if the same PDP member in panel A and another panel, the judges have interpreted that there is structure, and 1 against 2, they say no structure. You should know that more interpretation will be done at the appellant court at the end of the day. The Speaker is still the Speaker. All the members of the State House of Assembly that their elections were tampered with, they are still members. All National Assembly and the senators that their elections were tampered with are still in office until, as it is being addressed and redressed by the Court of Appeal. That is the confidence that we all have, that the judiciary is the hope of the common man.
All right, so let's move away from that while we wait for the outcome of the appeal court. So, Plateau State used to be a tourist haven before insecurity. This is a state we call the home of peace and tourism. What's the governor doing to revive the sector?
If you had read the governor's press text on the World Tourism Day, he has opened his doors to people that are willing to invest in tourism on the plateau, to public-private partnership. He is willing to go into partnership with people that will either build monuments, people that will want to develop all the waterfalls we have, the springs we have, people that want to have resorts, people that want to have a lot of tourist sites on the plateau. He has opened his door that he's willing to partner with people. And it will interest you that on daily basis, the Ministry of Tourism and through the Plateau State Tourism Corporation, they have visitors on daily and weekly basis, people that are interested to go around Plateau State to see some of these tourist sites, people that still want to know more about the tourist sites we have on the plateau. And I'm very much aware that a website will soon be launched for people around the world that want to come on to tour the state of Plateau to see most of these tourist sites. The state government is arranging how to even transport people from the US, Australia, Germany, UK on tour to the Plateau State and for a week program. All this the governor has put in as his own plan in trying to open Plateau State to the world in terms of tourism. And a lot of tourist sites on the plateau, the weather is something that, look, you cannot get any around within the country in terms of the hills. So a lot of places the governor has already put in place through the agencies responsible for tourism on the plateau. And I can tell you that you will see a lot of foreigners in the next few months and years going round the city of Plateau, going round most of these tourist sites on the Plateau, enjoying the wonderful atmosphere, enjoying the sights and enjoying the people, and especially our local cuisines.
All right, Honorable Dachung, quickly, 30 seconds. As a lawmaker, how is the National Assembly collaborating with the President to deliver on his renewed hope agenda?
We have given, one thing with the National Assembly is that, once we are there as members, 360, and with the senators, we keep party aside to ensure the dividends of democracy. Unless and until we don't agree on some certain policies that will not be intelligent to our own people, then we speak against it. But if the president will succeed through the laws we are making, it means that Just South, Just East will succeed. It's not about being partisan. I'll be so much happy that if through my legislation, through lobbying, that the road network between Akwanga to Jos, the dualization down to into the northeast is being achieved through the presidency of Senator Bola Tinubu, I will be so happy and I will praise him for that. In as much as we're in different parties about giving dividends of democracy, unless the policies and vision is not in line in giving dividends of democracy that way. So we are willing and ready to see that most of these issues are in line with giving dividends of democracy, which I can tell you that we are not rubber stamp and we will not be rubber stamp, but we ensure that policies that will give dividends of democracy to our people.
All right. Thank you so much, Honorable Dachung, member representing Just South, Just East Federal Constituency of Plateau State. Thank you so much for always finding time to join us on the program. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe.
And thank you so much for watching. I am Olajumoke Olatunji. Good night.
Toothpaste, Colgate Maximum Cavity Protection.
Why are we changing our toothpaste?
Because with Colgate Maximum Cavity Protection, I can be sure your teeth are cavity-free.
When you brush daily with Colgate Maximum Cavity Protection, its expert formula locks natural calcium in our teeth and helps protect them from cavity. Colgate